is Mrs. Gennai, and some of you know me. I'm the ELL teacher this year at Blackhawk. And because it's Diversity Week, we are talking about diversity, differences among people and their cultures, and honoring your roots. Today, I'd like to share with you a book called The Little Girl, and it's kind of a sad book. It's about a little girl, and her roots are not being honored. Here we go. The author is H.P. Fraser, and the illustrator is Akemi. The Little Girl. The little girl held on tight to her mother's hand as they crossed the busy airport up to the desk. "This is my daughter's name," Mother said as she passed the refugee papers to the man behind the desk. The man looked at the paper and frowned. This name is too long. There is no space on the line. We'll cross this word out," he said busily, and hurried them along. The little girl sat in the back seat and looked out the window as the car drove away from the airport. She had never seen such beautiful sights. The leaves glowed like fire on the trees. There were so many trees. That night, and for many nights after, the little girl slept and ate and got to know Mary and Tom. Their gentle smiles made her feel safe, and their warm, abundant home became her sanctuary. One day, Mother said, "You have to go to school. You have to be good and work hard and don't cause trouble." So the little girl went to school with Mary and Mother. The little girl didn't dare leave her mother's side in the very busy and strange place. She looked around. The room they stood in had so many colors and bright, strange pictures. There were toys and pillows and tables and chairs. The little girl thought she was in a dream. Everything looked so clean and colorful. "Hello," said a tall woman with curly golden hair and green eyes. She smiled at the little girl. "Here is your desk. You can sit down here." The little girl sat down and watched the other children come into the room happily to sit down at their desks too. The next day, the little girl went to school and sat down in her seat, just as the teacher told her to do. She was going to be a good girl, just like Mother said. "Amanda, here. Derek, here. Stephen, here." Then the tall woman stopped. She looked at her paper, and then at the little girl. Then she looked at her paper again. Said the tall woman. "This is not a name. It is not even a word. There are too many vowels, and so it cannot be." She walked over to the little girl. "Your name is going to be Helen. Now." She smiled and went back to calling all the names on her paper. The girl just sat in her desk. In the afternoons at school, the little girl loved to play. She played with the paints, she played with puzzles, she played with dolls in the little house made of wood. Sometimes the other children would play with her toys, but she didn't mind. At lunchtimes, the little girl liked to walk into the forest behind the school, but she had to get past the children who always shouted and teased her outside. "Look, it's Mount St. Helen. She's going to erupt." They would laugh and run back and forth in front of her. But the little girl didn't mind. She was being a good little girl, just like Mother said. Many days went by, and the little girl painted, drew, and listened to the woman speak at the front of the classroom. But her favorite thing to do in school was to look at the pictures in the books. She would spend many days at school looking at the same book and pretended she was in the story. Sometimes the tall woman would sit beside her and read the words that went with the pictures. One warm day, as the sun shone bright outside, Mother came in to talk to the tall woman. "I am really worried about Helen," the woman said. "She doesn't say a word, and I don't think she understands anything we are doing." The little girl's mother held the girl by the shoulders and looked at her in the face. "You have to try harder. You are making trouble for the teachers. You cannot make trouble. So, every day, the little girl tried to listen harder. She tried to print neater, and she tried to paint nicer. She worked hard to learn her numbers and letters, but still she did not speak. Again, the tall woman said to her mother on a cold, windy day, "There must be something wrong with her. She can't talk." The little girl's mother looked very sad. The little girl felt scared. "Please say something. They are not happy," Mother said. The little girl felt her stomach tighten. She made a fist with her hand, and she closed her eyes hard. She didn't want to, but she made her lips part. She opened her eyes, and she looked at the tall woman with the green eyes, and she said, "My name is Hugh."